What's up, DCI family? Thank you guys so much for hopping on. This is Adam Peterson, account manager for South Chicago, Central Illinois. We host these training calls for you guys each and every Monday. Today we have a special call for those DMs or principals that happen to hop on, and we're going to focus really on 20 terrific ways to really motivate your team and get the most out of them. So this is part of our DM Growth Series. We do these usually about once a quarter, right? So we do new hires every month for sure, and then our topics change, but we try to do we do try to have at least once a quarter something on there for your district managers to hop on to help develop their skills and help develop your teams as well. So on today, I was doing a lot of research and reading and found some great articles on what really helps motivate people in sales. So I want to go over these with you. If you like the information, please take it, adopt it in what you guys do in your everyday activities. If some of the things maybe aren't for you, not a big deal, right? These are all just suggestions, and there's a lot of them out there. So without any further ado, I will go ahead and get started. Can you guys see my screen and can you hear me okay?
We've got it.
All right. So as DMs, you guys are going to see a lot of different employees, right? In wireless, good help's hard to find, especially right now. It seems like people are almost making more money by staying home and not working than actually getting jobs. So it's been difficult to hire. We see that, we feel that from all you guys in the field. So that's why you guys are so selective. When you are getting people in there, you're getting the right candidates. And every single person is going to have a different kind of personality and a different way that's going to motivate them. So as DMs, there's not one blanket way that's going to work for every employee. You really got to learn each individual's needs, what makes them tick, and how you can motivate them. It's going to be up to you guys out there to find what makes each rep tick to get the best performance out of them. So here are 20 best practices that I hope will help you out. So number one, let's start with giving work a deeper meaning, right? This isn't just a sales job. Being in wireless is as a solutions consultant as they first start, that's a career. So if you think about it, even going back to my own path, right? I'm 40 now, right? I'm an old dude. But I started when I was 19 years old as a sales rep behind the counter, just like every single person you guys are hiring in your stores. And I worked my way up from a sales rep to a manager to a regional manager to a regional manager to a corporate job, from a corporate job doing internal support to an account executive to an ISM. So you can working in wireless as a frontline sales rep. This is a career. Everyone is always going to need a cell phone. It's one of those things that people just can't live without, right? So we need to give their work a deeper meaning. The company mission and values. If you guys don't have a mission and values written out for your company, I would advise you create one and write them up and make it part of your handbook. So those mission and values are just words until you help salespeople understand their role in making these altruistic goals truly happen. As salespeople, they only see their goal as bringing in accounts, getting my numbers on the board. That true motivation is going to come from that understanding and social purpose of your product. So are we going to help the community? Are we going to do events? Are we going to help schools? All that stuff can kind of be in there for you guys. And you want to regularly collect your customer success stories, right? Social media is huge these days. I know DCI, we sent you guys these little QR codes that go in your point of sales counters. And when your new hires come in, they don't know what they are. We sent them out, and I was questioning from them, like, what are these again? Oh, these are from us. That's right. It takes you to a direct link to your Facebook page. So when you have a success story, go on there, share it, talk about what they've achieved, how the phones made their life easier, and take those to everyone in the organization. It's important for people outside of your organization and inside to show, like, oh, man, I was in a bad spot. So and such dealer really helped me out. I'm going to write them positive reviews. So those positive views are important, and giving that work a meaning of how you are helping people really communicate. I mean, you can't live without your phone. Right now, my daughter got grounded for a week, and man, a week without her phone is like her life is over, right? So make sure you give that meaning to your team, and you have that value statement and mission statement written out, and you are sharing that with everyone that comes on board. All right, number two, it's about making people feel valued. So while salespeople do need to find the meaning in their work, they need to feel their work is valued by their boss and company to continue to stay motivated. So praise is a good start, and explaining why what they've done matters is a stronger finish. So 5 ways to make people feel valued. Invite them to get involved in the decision-making process. Offer growth and advancement opportunities. Create flexible work arrangements. Compensate fairly and adequately. So to that point, my question would be, our big priorities, right? EBB. Are you guys paying compensation on EBB? If not, that's a miss, because if the rep's not getting anything extra out of that, they're not going to push it. I have some dealers that are compensating very well on EBB, and they're some of the best in the country. So we want to make sure we are compensating fairly and adequately for those. Are you paying extra for a value added service? So as DMs, and you're talking to your owners, if you're not paying comp on value added services, that's an opportunity. If you're not paying comp on EBB, that's an opportunity, right? Then, of course, for new and upgrades as well, and your accessories. And we have a lot of models we can share with you. So if you want to reach out to a DCI account manager for examples of what dealers are doing, we can share those. But that's really going to motivate you versus, I have stores I go to and the reps just paid hourly. And I'm like, well, how do you have, one EBB sale for the month? Well, I'm just paid hourly. It doesn't matter what I do, right? That's a horrible atmosphere to have. So that needs to be changed. Make sure you are motivating your people and making them feel valued. And you can offer rewards beyond just cash, which is important to them. So you could do a contest for time off. Think of that, like a PTO day. So when you do a contest, especially in stores that are very busy and staffing is really tight, hey, whoever gets the most EBBs this week, we're going to give you a free day of PTO next week. You just tell us what day you want, and we'll get you covered. Like something like that is going to drive them crazy. They will be pushing so hard for that. Public recognition is huge. Back on my booth side as an ISM, I'm always motivated by sales and money. That's how I tick personally. But I had a rep who's like, man, Adam, and he was doing the same stuff I was doing. He's like, I don't even care about getting any bonus. I just want people to say, hey, you did a great job. I'm really proud of you. And so that's what I'm talking about when there's different personalities and they are all motivated differently. Whereas me, I'm like, I want that bonus of getting first. This other guy is like, man, I just want them to be on a call and say, hey, such and such, you did a great job. You crushed this. Thank you for all your hard work. So different people do get motivated differently. So make sure you give them that recognition. And then maybe opportunities to share and lead. If you're someone who's great in a category, if you guys are having weekly calls with your team, whoever's leading, let them have the opportunity to share. What are your best practices? What are you doing? Or maybe lead a segment of the call. Hey, I'm doing this segment of call on our value-added services. Your protection is at 80%. Everyone else is, at 50. Can you share what you're doing to get to 80%? Will you lead this segment? So if you let them lead, they're going to feel very valued to your organization. They're going to want to step up because they're going to say, oh, man, I'm a big dog. They're giving me this opportunity to grow. People love that kind of stuff. So make sure you make them feel valued. All right. Number 3, emphasize collaboration before competition. So as salespeople, we're all very competitive by nature, but going head to head with each other, it can create negative motivation. It drives some to disregard their colleagues and others to resent their colleagues. So you want to foster collaboration above competition. It's more likely that everyone's going to get motivated. So the goal is to compete against competitors, not necessarily each other, right? So you want to encourage your collaboration by rewarding, mentoring, knowledge sharing efforts to work together and overcome competition. So how can you guys use this, right? So if you look at sales, for example, if you get stack rankings on here's where you are at EBB compared to other dealers, you don't need to necessarily compete rep versus rep, although I think that is a little important, but it's more dealership versus dealership. Oh man, we are way better than this dealership down the road. That's our competitor. We got to crush them. You look at sales, you look at third month payment. They're doing what? We're better than that door. Come on, guys, let's band together. Let's beat it. Let's say you're a DM, right? In your DM and you have different markets, you can keep competing against your markets because you're your own kind of squads, right? So yes, you want to compete against other dealers, but if you don't have the access to that information, which you probably could get, to be honest, for your bootstraps, compete against different regions, but not each other. And I'm kind of guilty of this. Like when we had our team call this morning, I'm like, oh, well, I'm actually higher. It's like, no, don't do that. I shouldn't have said anything because it's not about being better than the people that are on your team. It's about being better than the competition. That's all that really matters. So you want to emphasize your collaboration before your competition, right? Point 4, encourage and recognize initiative. So this is the same vein as collaboration, right? You want to encourage your salespeople to be the entrepreneurs and let them cultivate ideas to grow your business. Give them some time, some freedom, and some space. to make sure they can figure out, hey, this is what I think is going to work for our business, and let them fly with it. Reward them for bringing new ideas to increase your market share and find new customers. And then give larger rewards for ideas that are actually implemented and follow through with, and even larger rewards for those that work. So a best practice we had from Julia this morning on our DCI team, and we were talking about EBB, and she said, you know what? I'm telling my dealers, go to grocery stores. Think about that, right? So if you got a rep that says, hey, I want to take the lead on that, I want to go to grocery stores and set up a tent out there. And there are now tents that specifically call out EBB on the Boost marketing stores you guys can order. But anyone at a grocery store, especially in a low income neighborhood, they're going to have a SNAP card or food stamps, right? So if you set a tent up at a grocery store and partner with the grocery store, say, hey, do you mind if I set a tent up outside? We're going to offer any of your low income customers free internet. You're going to get a yes probably 80-90% of the time. You can plant that seed and see if a rep will carry that and grow that to really grow your business. So now you're getting sales, not just people coming into your store, but you're outside of your four walls as well. And they will be growing your business. And if they do it once and have success, say, hey, do this once a week. Give them some time, schedule it, and the freedom to try this out. And maybe they can have great success for you. And then you give them a reward. You give them a bonus for all that hard work that they're doing. All right, step 5 is celebrating your small wins. So you don't have to plan a party every time salespeople land a meeting, but morale shoots up when small accomplishments are recognized. So the small wins do have a disproportionate power over boosting moods and changing the perception of challenge. Recognizing small wins, such as, if you got someone who's thinking about buying is now coming in. So like instead of making a smile dial call, they've set an appointment, they're coming into your store with written verbal praise. That's going to be big. Save the celebrations for larger group wins, but that's still big. You still want to recognize that, hey, I saw you made 10 smile dial calls today, and you said 3 appointments are going to come in. That's a great job. That's 3 extra sales for your quota. Now you're going to hit your goal for the week, right? So celebrate those small wins, those daily things your team is doing right. Make sure you give them some verbal praise. And if you have chat groups, reach out to them on that as well. And when it comes to chat groups, that kind of goes to encouraging everyone to track their wins. So this is point 6. In sales, it's not. It's often too easy to celebrate on like the negatives, right? The setbacks, the rejections, because they happen more often than the small and big wins. So we want the salespeople to be focused more on tracking those small wins and those daily wins, even if it's just those little things that made them feel good, like a great conversations or sending a message. So let me give you a real life example of that. So this is like what I see on WhatsApp all the time. I have multiple dealers out there. Every time they sell like an EBB, it's posted. Got another one, got our 4th out at this address, got our 7th out at this address. Celebrating these small wins, it's a great way to foster positive competition and makes them feel good about what they're doing. So celebrate each time they get a sale. If they're posting that to your team, can see like, oh man, I'm seem a little tedious. I'm getting like 10 of these messages per day. But no, this is good for those individuals, individuals who are getting those sales. It feels good to track those wins and to post those wins. It gets a leg up on your competition and really is going to see like, oh, if I'm not on board on this, everyone else is doing it. I need to get on board. Let's celebrate our successes. All right, point 7 is praising the group publicly. So the small win recognition is powerful, especially for those who aren't really comfortable with public praise. And yeah, there are some people who are more shy. So maybe a phone call to them is like, hey, man, you did a great job on that sale. So you got 3 lines out today. Great job. Keep it up. But public praise usually gives that team that double dose of morale. If you guys are the DMs and you're going on there and you're shouting someone out, it does wonders to lift their spirits and their morale. They're like, oh, yeah, I don't want to let my boss down. I'm going to do even better next time. If you guys have meetings together, you're praising a meeting or a shout out in the office when everyone's around, that's kind of the first dose. Colleagues will talk about the win and congratulate each other. That's the second dose. So a lot of time in our DCI calls, we have them every single Monday. If you guys aren't doing weekly calls with your team, highly advise it because it really does set that tone. But they'll talk about those wins and we'll congratulate each other. Oh, man, Chris, you're doing great in 2 categories today. It was like, oh, great job, Chris. And then me being competitive, like, man, I want to be above Chris. It helps that praise and it helps us give that recognition and drives motivation. So praise that group publicly, have those weekly meetings if you can. Now, building your team. So team building activities generally generate more eye rolling than excitement, right? Like, oh, we're going to team building, groan. But no, no, no. Even though people may say that and they may kind of like do an eye roll publicly, it works. It improves morale and employee retention. So it's the key here is getting the group to interact. Everyone has fun. Like any team building activity I've been to, I have always had a blast. You have fun. You're going to build your skills in a natural way, whether it's formal or informal. You don't need to have like any awkward games or share your emotions. It's just team building activities, just getting everyone together, no matter what it is. I promise you, these always help. It could be a pizza party. It could be we're gonna go miniature golfing. It doesn't need to cost a lot of money, but getting your team together and doing a team building activity, let's say once a quarter, or 2 times a year, if it's hard to do once a quarter, 2 times a year, even once a year. But building that team is really important. So if you guys are not doing this at all, not doing any team builders, I would say this is definitely something that can help you guys and help build the cohesiveness within your entire group.
Adam?
All right, point. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is Chris. I just wanted to tell you that you're doing a great job. Keep it up.
Hey, thanks, Chris. Thanks, Chris. And your metrics are great as well. You keep it up as well. So to that point, number 9 is staying positive. So especially in our industry in wireless, right? We need to make sure we are staying positive, because anyone in the sales profession, we face negativity, if not weekly, daily, right? You're gonna get people saying no, you're gonna get people mad at you, you're gonna get people confused. And so it can be difficult to rise above all challenges and stay that motivated, positive person day in and day out. This is where you guys as leaders must step in. Being cheerleaders of sort, you don't need to be like huge rah-rah guys, but you do have to be cheerleaders to keep your team positive. And the 3 keys to doing that is acknowledging the salesperson's worries and defeats, but don't echo them. So if the customer came in, oh my God, it's been so slow today. You say, yeah, I get it, man. But you know what? Let's get the next horse that comes in. Let's see if there's anyone out in the parking lot. Let's see if we can drag someone in and get a sale out of them. So you want to acknowledge what their worries are or their defeats are, but you don't want to co-sign them. Yeah, man, it's real slow. It sucks, huh? No, you don't want to do that. You want to be like, well, hey, yeah, I understand it's been slow earlier, but it's going to be better. It's going to be better now because we're going to get more aggressive. Let's get on our smile and dial calls. How many calls have we made today? Maybe we can call somebody to get them in here and get them an Adeline and an EBB, right? So you want to recognize those frustrations, but use positive language and suggestions to keep the focus on the goals and your company values. And I don't know what I wrote after that. Keep the goals on keep the focus on the goals and company values. And yes, identify their challenges and fears, but take risks, right? We want to stay positive. We want to stay aggressive. We want to get the most out of every sales rep and every customer walking in our door. Step 10 for you guys as DMs is connecting your reps to their future careers. So to motivate salespeople who are interested in career trajectory, like what we're doing today, what's my future going to be, 3 to 5 years from now, help them map that path to their career goals, perhaps moving up within your company or to a new industry or entrepreneurship. Allow them to take on day-to-day activities that'll build the skills they need to achieve their long-term career goals. So this is big for you guys on this call, is if you got people coming in as entry-level sales reps, or I like to call them solutions consultants, I think that title sounds great. You're really going to help them build your future career. I've given you an example, of my career that started as a sales rep, right? So same thing. So, some people you want to recognize they might not want that bigger career. They're just happy to be a sales rep. And those people, okay, understand what they need and help them be the best sales rep. But if you have those people that you see are hungry and you've had that conversation, they want to grow, help plot a course for them to grow in your organization or to future opportunities, right? Because if you help someone take their skills today and they're better in your organization, that's fantastic. If you want to take a different opportunity and you help grow them to give them those skills, you're going to be a mentor in their life forever. So obviously, selfishly, I'm going to say I want them to grow my organization. I want to build them up to a manager status in the future, give them some stores, or maybe have them have a different goal. Maybe they're going to help find new locations for you to grow, whatever it could be. And we can discuss that when you have those candidates. but give them some opportunities to grow so they don't feel like they're just stuck as a sales rep. Point 11 is to educate. So most salespeople are motivated by a chance to learn more about the industry. So think about how you can do that, right? Encourage them to learn more by building time and expectations into their schedules. So making sure they're taking all their trainings. We do these calls every Monday at noon. Our attendance is not really too high on these calls. I mean, we should have way more people on. Why aren't your sales reps on them? If you're not busy selling Monday at noon, they should be on these calls. If not, maybe we need to change the time of the calls. We're open to that. We can change it. But they should be honest and giving, hopping on and getting as much education as possible. Steer them to relevant webinars and podcasts. Give them books on sales. Zig Ziglar books. I used to read all the time when I was a starting sales rep. But getting that education, have them follow the stocks. Have them read the news updates of what's going on in wireless. Read those articles so they know more about the industry. But educating that rep is going to motivate them to make them a better sales professional. All right, point number 12, being ready for the fire alarm. So for sales leaders to keep themselves immersed in the sales process, they tend to be more empathetic to day-to-day struggles, right? So salespeople are motivated when they know their bosses have empathy and are easy to get a hold of if they need to pull a fire alarm for immediate help. So knowing you guys as their bosses have their back is going to be a morale booster. And especially for wireless industry, there's always fire alarms and staffing. I know it's difficult, but if you guys, kind of say, hey, we have your back, can't happen all the time, but if something comes up and there is a fire alarm, I got your back, we'll help take care of you. That is important for them to know. All right, next, going on to point 13 is offering incentive choices. So again, every salesperson is motivated differently. Some are going to like one incentive while others are going to be compelled by a completely different benefit. So one perk is going to appeal to maybe 70% of your team, where another perk maybe only appeals to a few. You want to offer a variety of incentives in your budget and set those goals so that they can realistically reach them and motivated to attain those incentives. So in our world, this comes down to like offering incentives on multiple categories. Are you doing anything on smile dial calls? Are you doing anything on value-added services? Are you doing anything on Unlimited Plan Plus? Are you doing anything on EBB? Are you doing anything on Adelines? So it's kind of, you get those different choices of incentives, and maybe they latch on to one more than the other, and they'll beast out on one of those opportunities, whereas maybe they're lower in another, and you have a different rep that can pick up the slack where they're not hitting their goal. Now, in an ideal situation, we want them to hit every single one of those goals, but is that realistic? Well, it depends on the team you guys have in place, and we know good help is hard to find, especially with new hires. So you maybe have to find their strength at first, let them rock out on that one, and then grow them to hit those other categories as well. All right, next point 14 is being a committed strategic coach. Sorry, sales managers are salespeople's foremost coaches, right? So those are the DMs on this call. You might only show up to coach after a few mistakes or losses, but a sales associate will know what they're doing is failure, and when you guys coach them, it's going to kick their morale and get them motivated. So you want to motivate salespeople by showing a commitment to your coaching. Time spent on praising, developing, and improving, plus time scheduled strategically to help them win when it's most necessary. In other words, give that one-on-one attention to every single rep. Yes, you guys may have big teams, but don't just manage at an entire store level. You need to manage at a one-on-one strategic level to get the most out of your team and every single rep. In other words, if you guys aren't doing one-on-one meetings with each rep, that's a great best practice, right? Set aside 15, doesn't have to be long, 10, 15 minutes. Each month we're going to go over your performance one-on-one and really see your opportunities and see how we can coach you and grow you. This is where you're going to find out what makes them tick. What leadership opportunities will help them grow? Do they have any ideas to get your business growing outside of your four walls? All right, next step 15, which kind of corresponds with that, is fostering your critical relationships. So when trying to motivate a sales team, one thing that's often overlooked are the seeming innocuous things that have a demotivating effect. So some of the biggies, what demotivates your team? Finger pointing, contention, backstabbing between critical areas like it's customer support, development, sales, and not hitting their goals. So sales leaders who build up relationships and foster good relations between their salespeople and other departments are going to achieve a higher morale than those who allow those contentious relationships. Bring the groups together to uncover ways to communicate better, collaborate on customer-focused projects more often, and celebrate your group victories. Point 16 here for you guys. Playing games the right way. So there's no shortage of advice on gamification, daily or even hourly contests, right? So like March Madness stuff, for example. Nearly every sales group's used competition at one time or another to motivate salespeople. Personally, I love competitions. But regardless of the type of games and competitions you guys have, keep in mind these elements of success. One, for your contests, make it brief. The motivational effects of any competition are short-lived, even if that is a sizable great prize. Salespeople will be excited to participate for a few weeks, and the winners will relish in the victory for just a few days. Number two, keep it simple. Each competition should be aimed at motivating a single behavior. For example, making more calls, setting up more appointments if you're doing Smile and Dial, closing more deals if it's new line, getting more EBBs if you're focusing on that. So make that contest simple so it's easy for reps to see where they're at and track it on a daily basis. And then, very important, you broadcast your results. So ideally, you want real-time results so salespeople can see where they stand throughout the competition. Most of the sales and software you guys have will offer this. So you want to broadcast those results of where people are at daily so they're motivated at the start of their day and at the end of the day to see if they have gained ground or need to push more the following day. Point 17, manage with flexibility. So you might be a leader to everyone on the sales team, but you don't need to be the same leader to everyone. This is what I've kind of tried to harp on a few times, is everyone's going to be motivated differently. Managing in just one fashion, forcing you to impose your ways is going to hurt morale, no matter the singular approach you take. To motivate salespeople, managing in a way that fits with their work style and your work style is going to be important. To determine how you want to lead each salesperson, ask questions like these. How often do you like to interact? So this is for you guys as DMs to ask yourself. Do you want to interact with your team several times a week, weekly, or every 2 weeks? Do you prefer private or public praise? And this is for your employees as well. Do they prefer private or public praise? What kind of feedback do you prefer? How do you want me to give you your feedback? Face-to-face, written, through coaching? How involved do you want me to be in your selling process? If I see you're not pitching something, should I step in the middle of the sale and then give the pitch I think you did not hit? Or should I wait for that customer to leave and then coach you on it, knowing that next time you will not miss it and you will take advantage of that opportunity? How will you let me know about your concerns and your accomplishments, right? So you got to have that flexibility. It's not a blank slate. Everyone is motivated differently. Number 18, enable and ennoble. So we've already recognized that training and adding meaning to work is an important factor of success for your salespeople. What I want you guys to do is make sure you regularly ask if your expectations are reasonable and if you provide enough resources to meet them. So praise what your team's accomplished and proven, and you'll feed that confidence and competence. And you can explain what's important to you, what's important to your owners, what's important to your dealership, what's important to your future, and you'll feed off what is feeling important. So in other words, this goes back to one of our very first points, is to enable your team to think outside the box. If they have great solutions, enable them to bring them to you where you can maybe execute on those. Give them praise. Give them rewards or bonus for going above and beyond and getting outside your four walls and really taking their career seriously. Point 19, let them be heroes. So heroes are motivated to do the most natural things, even the worst circumstances. Not necessarily the sales environment, but let me give you a perfect example of this for us, right? So my boss at DCI, Robert, whenever he is number one in a scorecard and he reads off team rankings, and he has doors as well, he doesn't even comment on himself. He'll say, great job to, whatever name B, C, D. He won't even talk about himself in first. He's giving that recognition to everyone on his team, doesn't even talk about himself. This is one of the first things that really impressed me. Like, wow, that's a really great leadership style. Is I see him selling, but he's giving all that recognition to his team. He's letting his team be heroes. And I learned from that a lot. I'm like, this is great. So you want to make sure as leaders, you guys are recognizing and supporting the reward of that heroic salesperson in a variety of ways. So including encouraging and rewarding risk-taking. You want to smartly support creativity and discovery with the risk taking. So when those are done well and give you positive outcomes, your salespeople are going to feel like heroes. Help the salespeople convey their strong beliefs. The more salespeople witness the good your products and services do, the more they will believe in what you sell. As their customers succeed, their positivity will increase as well. And then encourage rest. Give salespeople time and resources to practice a meditative mindset. So, mediation, yoga, other relaxation methods, just help them avoid burnout and remain heroes. I know this is tough with staffing, but days off are important for everyone to kind of reset and relax. And then lastly, point 20 is to fuel them. So remember, our salespeople have hectic jobs and lives. Many of them travel, they put in extra effort that can lead to a bad balance of nutrition, exercise, and sleep. And when those are out of whack, motivation is going to suffer, right? So leaders need to keep a watchful eye on the numbers and salespeople's physical well-being. If salespeople admit to be feeling sleep deprived, suggest time off for a nap. Maybe if you have a food in the fridge, bring in some healthy food on site and connect them with information about on-the-go nutrition. Encourage them to take time to exercise and unwind in their favorite healthy ways. But you want to make sure that they are ready to work all day and give the most out of them. So in summary, there's lots of ways people get motivated, right? Whether it's money, opportunity, teamwork, independence, visibility, or excellence, get to know your reps and find out what motivates them to succeed. And the accountability piece is the hardest piece to drive, right? So how to keep yourself and reps on track. So think about the accountability you hold reps to in your doors. Do they know your key priorities? And as DMs, how are you organizing your time? Have that scheduled out 2 weeks in advance if possible. Why are you going to those doors? Obviously, you want to go to those doors that are lowest performing, you can help the most. And what are you doing while you're there? Documentation is the key. Are you holding their reps accountable for hitting their goals, their sales, their value-added services, their add lines, etc.? Are they being held accountable for smile dial goals? Are you holding reps accountable for store being merchandised correctly? Is your store clean? These are the easy things. So I know I'm a couple minutes over, but those are my 20 ways to help motivate your team as DMs. And with that, I will open it up for any questions.
How are you so awesome, Adam?
Because I have such a great team behind me, Tomas.
Awesome, man.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. If there's no other questions, I really appreciate you hopping on this call. We will chat with you soon. Have a great week. Happy selling. And the holidays are going to be here before we know it. So let's get ready to finish this month strong. Are you ready for September? Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Adam.